Hello, this is Gio, and I am harvesting fennel seeds. Every year I like to grow fennel, and I like to save the seeds, and I'll show you how I collect them and how to dry them and how I get the seeds out of this plant. So basically what I first like to look at is I wait for the seeds to dry out, right? Some of these seeds aren't quite dry, some of them are dry, and so I will harvest the ones that are dry. Just to kind of clarify which kind of stems, which are ready and which aren't, you can see this color difference. This stalk is a little bit brown. This one's green. This green one isn't quite ready, but when they brown up like this, they kind of are pretty obvious, and this one's ready to be cut. Okay. And so I just take a paper sack and just some snips, and I snip off the entire little head, just like that. And I put that in the bag, and I just keep on snipping the dry ones. And I put the entire head in. If you put the entire head in, they'll kind of separate, and they'll dry in the bag really nicely. They won't be really compacted, and air will get to them, and they'll dry really nicely. So I just wanted to show you what my bag is. You can see how all the little heads are just loosely packed. I'm just going to let it dry like this for a couple of weeks until they get really, really dry, and the seeds will essentially start falling off. They're falling off now, but in a couple of weeks they'll just fall off really easily. But keep them really loosely like this, and they'll dry really nicely with no mold, and I'll come back when they're all dry. Hey, so we're back, and I've let the fennel seeds dry for a week or two, and so they've gotten quite dry, and the seeds just sort of fall off like this. So what I'm going to do is have a bowl, and this is actually getting the seeds off the little stems are easier than you think. You just basically grab one, and just once they're dry, they just sort of fall off really easily, as you can see, and just kind of scrunch them in your hand, and the seeds will be fine. They'll just sort of fall off. And don't worry about little bits of stem and the like coming off either. I'll show you how to separate them in a sec. So we're going to just kind of squeeze them between our fingers like this a little bit, and just kind of get all the seeds, and let them sit for a couple of weeks. They really get dry and they just fall off very easily. And so we'll do this and get a whole bunch of fennel seeds down in the bowl, and I'll show you how to get all these little stems off in a sec. Okay, so I finished taking all the seeds off the stems. There's quite a few seeds kind of left behind, scattered around, but you saw the size of that fennel bush. That fennel bush I use for seeds only. Usually the bigger the bush, the worse the fennel itself. It's not as good, but the seeds are excellent. So if you want to harvest seeds, let your fennel grow really big. So so basically the seeds have a whole bunch of stems and other material you don't want, and you can just kind of mix them up and take some of the bigger stems out. But the best technique I find is just to kind of vibrate the bowl a little bit. Let me switch hands. So you just want to shake it, and the process of shaking it will kind of accumulate all the stems kind of up on top, like this. So you pick out the stems, do some more shaking, and this will not only get out the larger stems, but it will allow all the small little stems to settle to the top. All the seeds kind of drop off, and all the lighter stems will just kind of work them way up. And we're going to do this for a while, a few times, just taking out the stems as we go, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I got most of the larger stems out. There might be one or two left. But what I like to do next is try to get the smaller, there's a lot of powdery residue, there you see some right there, that I like to try to get as much of that out as possible. And what I usually do is just kind of shake it on one side, just gently. And as you do this, you start seeing the finer powder come up. And so I just do this a little bit. It won't really hurt any recipes, but I kind of like to get this finer powder out, just to get it out. But you keep on doing that, and you'll clean up your seeds, and you'll have wonderful fennel seeds for the winter recipes. And there you go. That's how you harvest your fennel. Thanks.